Welcome back to the gun shop, welcome back to the range. So today I have something a little different. I'm going to test two underlever air guns, and I really love air guns. I'm a huge fan of air guns. The technology, I used to shoot competitively as a kid in England, and the technology's come on amazingly over the last 20-30 years. It really is very impressive. So a lot of you will be familiar with the pre-charging matics, which are just incredible. We'll review some more of those soon. But what I want to do today is I'm going to review a couple of underlevers. And the first one I'm going to do is the Weihrauch, or however you say it. Any one of you Germans can help us pronounce that. So this is the HW77K. All right, it's an underlever, adjustable butt pad, a safety that goes through the actual body of the gun here. To release the underlever, you push the button here, clips straight in, but you have to press that to release it. Pull that down and it clicks into place, and you can see the sliding pellet loading mechanism here, which will click back, pop your pellet in there, and then you slide that forward and a lock in place. And I'll demonstrate that a bit better in a minute when we actually want to put a pellet in. Now this one retails for about $700 US. We've thrown a Hawk scope on it. Hawk is one of our top brands we sell here. These are a UK, a company out of the UK, although the scopes I'm sure are probably made in China or somewhere, but the quality of these scopes is really fantastic. So this is the HW77K, made in Germany, $700, a very, very high quality bit of kit, adjustable trigger. This is the thumb hole version here. We can see you can have a thumb hole for more control. I really like this gun. I shot this in competitions, field target competition in the UK 30 odd years ago, or a version of it, the original version of it. It comes in various different ones now. You can get a laminate stock, the blue laminate stock, and various other ones, and different barrel lengths and so on. So this one is up against, so German technology is up against Turkish technology. So this here is that Hatsan 200W Dominator. And this is a lot heavier gun. It really is way heavier. This is putting out a lot more power as well. The Weihrauch is putting out about 22 foot-pounds. This one, I'm guessing, is about 35, and we'll run these through the chrono as well, and we'll post that on the video. This has a very similar mechanism, but it doesn't have a button to press, and it just has a ball in here, and you just basically pull that down, and the ball locates it. So there's no button on the end. Okay, same type of loading mechanism. One of the interesting things we found straight off, I've just sighted these guns, is the Hatsan, the 2.2 pellets, and we're using the BSA Elite pellet, which is quite a nice pellet. They're quite clean, quite good quality. We had quite a few fall out of the actual breech, and then they roll around inside here, and you've got to turn the thing and try and tip it out. This has a big difference as far as the underlever goes. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to load this, and I'll show you a close-up of this, because this here is a locking mechanism on the side, and when you cock this gun to put the lever back in place, you actually have to press this to release that lever. And I quite like that, because it means that the gun can't go off and chop your fingers off while you're trying to load it, and that's a nice aspect. Having said that, we found this was a bit sticky and hard to use on this gun, which is new. It's easier if you crunch this lever back into place hard. I found this actually released this much easier. So we'll go through that just now. The safety is a bit different. Like a lot of the Hatsans, it's on the back here, and you pull it backwards to allow it to fire. It's got a Picatinny rail and again an adjustable trigger. So we've sighted these in. We'll see how the groupings are. I'm going to fire them off a bench. The scope on this is a Nico Sterling, so nowhere near the quality of the Hawk scope. It's a good air rifle scope and a good sort of beginner intermediate scope, but it's certainly not the same quality as the Hawk. I said it's a Nico Sterling. Actually, it's not. It's a Gammo. I asked my gunsmith to put a Nico Sterling on it, and it's not. It's a Gammo. So this one retailing at about $400. So the Weihrauch's almost double the price, and with that particular scope would be double the price. So let's see if it's double the gun when it comes to accuracy. So we're going to load the Hatsan, and I'll run you through how we do that. I say this is a very heavy gun. We'll post the weight on the bottom of the screen. So right, we pull this down and we crank that back there. Okay, and the breech is opened. Right, I've always been of the habit of holding the underlever so it can't snap forward. This one has this safety catch here, so theoretically it can't do that. To be honest, I'd still hold on to the underlever. Pop the pellet in, and as I said, they are a little bit loose in this gun. So now we press this lever here, and we can move the lever into its position to fire the gun. We did have, this is a new gun, we did have this stick a few times, and I found crunching the underlever back hard actually seemed to set this and make it a lot easier to use. Otherwise it jams and then you've got to crank the lever again to try and unjam it. Anyway, what we're going to do is we'll take this onto the bench rest. We're going to fire this at 20 meters and see how we do. Okay, so I'm running this gun off a bench rest here, and that's to give each shot the consistency. So none of it's from me moving, or hopefully not much of it. It's basically as consistent as we can get it onto this target. And what we're looking for is the groupings from the Hatsan and the groupings from the Weihrauch, and then we'll do a comparison on things like the triggers and so on and see how they stack up. Remember, this gun is half the price of the Weihrauch, so it's going to be very interesting to see how it does. And the scope also is a lot cheaper. Right, here we go. Okay, slightly to the left. Now I'm finding a couple of things with this gun. The recoil is okay, it doesn't have that much recoil, but it's hard to, it seems to want to turn to the left. And I'm thinking that as the spring releases, there's a bit of turning momentum in that spring, which is pulling the gun to the left. So it's actually quite hard to shoot accurately, but it is putting out a huge amount of power, something like 30 foot-pounds, which is 3 times the legal limit in the UK. So we'll keep going. I've fired 6 rounds. We're creeping to the left of the bull, and there's certainly no consistency, particularly in the actual grouping. The trigger's quite nice, nothing wrong with the trigger, but I think for real pinpoint shooting, this probably isn't really working. If you wanted to shoot tin cans or something at 30 yards, yeah, then it would be fine. Right, so there's our grouping. This gun, it seems to pull to the left. And I think that's all to do with the torque of the spring as it uncoils. For air rifle shooting, it's poor, really poor. I mean, it's 20 yards. So really you'd expect a decent spring rifle to put everything within that area. We're now going to try the Weihrauch and see how we do with that one. And that's going to go into this one here. It's quite a nice gun to shoot. I quite like shooting it. You feel there's a lot of power there, but with air rifles, accuracy is everything, so that would be an issue. Right, now the Weihrauch, German gun, and the quality, straight away you feel the quality with this gun. This is $700 off the shelf, the scope's about $150. It really feels much nicer. It's got the thumb hole, which I like for the control that it gives you. Press the button. Very, very smooth action, way smoother than the Hatsan. Okay, and let's see, putting this pellet in. Okay, nice tight fit. We had quite a few of the pellets and very, very smooth action to push the lever forward into position. On the Hatsan, we had quite a few pellets fall out and drop into this cylinder area, and then it's very, you have to turn the gun upside down and they're sort of rattling around in there and you eventually manage to tip them out. Okay, so we're going to give this gun 10 rounds and see how we get on with this. The safety on this is a push through like that. Okay, we've pulled that slightly to the low and left. Oh, much crisper action. and a nice trigger on this weapon. Okay, that plugs in there. You can hear that all nice and go into place. Okay, let's go. Now there's obviously less, this is a less powerful gun, so there's less recoil, so it's easier to shoot nice and accurately. The Weihrauch, this is the group here, and you can see it's a 1-inch group. Now when I set these guns up, I didn't set them up particularly for the bull, I freehand shot them. So what we're looking for more than anything is the quality of the grouping as opposed to just knocking out the bull. So this one, you can see there's a couple of flyers, that's 10 rounds, that's the Weihrauch, 10 rounds. Double the gun, double the money. But if you were going to shoot like game, then definitely this would be the way to go. It's a better scope. It's a more expensive gun, but the difference in the way it feels to shoot and the quality of it, it just feels so much nicer. Having said that, the Hatsan's putting out a lot more power, not far of double the power. And that does have a dramatic effect on accuracy because you get far more recoil, far more spring bounce. So they're both great guns. $400 versus $800 with this scope, or just over $800. But a very significant difference there. So that's a review of these two underlevers. They're both, in their own way, really nice guns. The Weihrauch's a classic HW77, and it's been around for 30 or 40 years now. This Hatsan, made in Turkey, is half the price, and it's carrying loads of power. It really is a powerful gun. What I'm going to do with the Hatsan, I'm going to give it another review and try 4 different types of pellets. We'll try and see if we can get a pellet that this gun really likes, because I think a heavier pellet is going to actually help this gun because it just is putting out so much power. This is very heavy, so we'll post the weights of the two guns below. I think they're great guns, different price point, but both really nice, and they're both certainly easily capable of killing small game without any problem at all. So enjoy airgun shooting. I do. I love air guns, and I really enjoyed shooting these two guns.